Asmodeus, the demon of lust, is one of the most powerful demons in hell, leading 72 legions of demons and forming the infernal monarchy of the 7 princes of hell. In the beginning, Asmodeus would have been a powerful angel of the heavenly hosts, belonging to the first divine hierarchy, serving in the heavens and under the command of God. However, Asmodeus would have joined the great rebellion led by Lucifer, and was condemned to the fiery abyss. Already in hell, the appearance of this demonic creature changed completely, because from being a beautiful angel became a being of 3 terrifying heads, the same that are not equal to each other, because it would have a bull's head, a human head, which would be the central head and in which wears a shiny crown, which symbolizes the power over humans and their eternal reign in hell. Finally, at one end he has a ram's head. Its deformation was abysmal, because it has a snake's tail, which symbolizes seduction. His enormous legs are of goose, and his figure resembles that of a human. However, the combination of several beings makes the appearance of this demon intriguing and terrifying. For thousands of years, Asmodeus has ridden a terrifying diabolical dragon, with eyes like blood, and with a fiery breath, spewing fire like volcanoes. Asmodeus is a very cunning, shrewd and very territorial demon. It is said that in one hand he carries a sharp, infernal spear to fight detractors, and in the other he carries a banner instilling fear. Asmodeus, since the beginning of time, had great gifts in the heavens. Now in hell, his gifts were intensified, because Asmodeus claims to be responsible for carnal desire, as this would be the most lustful demon of all the underworld. Asmodeus possesses a terrible exacerbated lasciviousness, and one of his most powerful gifts is to possess humans and deprave them to lead them to lust and revenge. Asmodeus is attracted by virgins and especially by the burning heart of these women. This evil being is the one who enjoys the infidelity of men, and the destruction of families. Also, the Prince Asmodeus is qualified as a seducer being, perverts human thoughts, inducing men to invoke him, in order to penetrate their minds with speed. One of the most destructive records, according to the legends, had to do with the perverse city of sin, Sodom. Asmodeus among his daily labors fixed his terrible and abominable gaze on the city of Sodom. In his attempt to put into practice his darkest powers, he would be responsible for bringing Sodom to perdition. He would be the demon who would have offered on a silver platter the sins most punished by God to the city of sin. It is believed that the demonic prince caused the inhabitants of Sodom to destroy the city completely, leading it to decadence and total depravity. Even Asmodeus tempted the king of Sodom, and he would have easily fallen into the entanglements of Asmodeus' wickedness. The infernal prince was very cunning and possessed the king's mind, leading him to total depravity, and little by little he was considered the most impure man on earth. Thus, Sodom earned the title of the city of sin, and because of such impure acts, the city and every sinner in it were scourged by the wrath of God, judged and condemned under the supreme divine laws. In the Testament of Solomon, he details the gifts and functions that Asmodeus possesses, figuring Asmodeus as a demon with an impressive power. The writing says that Asmodeus is the main responsible in conspiring against the newlyweds and provoking the crudest calamities. It is also mentioned that the demon snatches the beauty of virgins and that their hearts are his darkest desires. He is the cause of infidelity of married men, possessing their minds to act with madness and desire for short periods of time, or in the worst cases for life. He is an ambassador of infidelity and tries to break homes, and that men seek more homes to pervert and dissolve, incurring in sin and falling into criminal acts. On the other hand, the Book of Tobit details the story of Asmodeus and the forbidden love he felt for Sarah, which led the demon to commit several crimes for the love of Sarah. Tobias relates that Asmodeus would have been the demon that possessed Sarah, since the demonic prince was deeply in love with the woman. It is said that Asmodeus watched over the sweet woman, and that when she married, Sarah's husbands did not go beyond the first wedding night, because Asmodeus was very jealous and could not allow the woman to be with another man, avoiding the consummation of the sexual act. Thus, Sarah married for 7 occasions, and in all the same thing happened, for the following morning, the men had been murdered by Asmodeus. Finally, Sarah consummated marriage with her cousin Tobias, and thus the curse would end. According to the writings, Tobias would have asked the divine angels for help, and the archangel Gabriel would be the one who came to his pleas. Gabriel told Tobias that he would help him, and that he should do exactly what he would tell him, so that he would pass the fearful wedding night. So the archangel advised Tobias and told him that when they were already together in the bridal chamber, he should take the heart and liver of the fish and put it on the coals. This would serve to drive away the Asmodeus, and so that he would never come back for Sarah. Tobias gratefully did all that Gabriel suggested. The night was drawing near, and they entered the room. With the fish gall in his hands, he put it on the burning coals, and the stench seeped into the room. Asmodeus as usual was on his way to murder Sarah's husband, but as he entered the putrid stench flooded him and he could not contain himself, for he had to flee from the place, so unpleasant was the stench that he fled to Egypt to hide. When he found himself in Egypt, the archangel Gabriel would have caught him and imprisoned him in the outskirts of Egypt. According to several accounts, Asmodeus in the Egyptian culture is venerated and described as a serpent. The Egyptians believed that Asmodeus was able to impregnate fertile women, and that for that to happen they had to spend at least 24 hours in his temple located in the desert of Rihanna. According to the writings, Asmodeus would not be an entirely evil being, although Christianity associates him with the capital sin of lust. Asmodeus is said to be a very cunning demon, since in several books it is said that this infernal prince would provide men with knowledge. The demon would enlighten minds closed to thought, and would also teach them about geometry, arithmetic, astronomy, mechanical sciences and one of the arts most coveted by men. He taught them the ability to become invisible. Asmodeus is presented as a magnificent being because he would give men beautiful magic rings. These rings were called astrological rings, entrusting all the knowledge of the cosmos to those who wore them. It is also said that Asmodeus is a connoisseur of the hidden treasures existing on earth, being very invoked, for the revelation of these places unknown to man. In the Clavicles of Solomon an ancient legend is told, where Asmodeus revealed mysteries and hidden secrets, provided so much knowledge about everything to Solomon. The story goes that King Solomon began a monumental construction of a great temple with the purpose of housing the Ark of the Covenant. During this construction, King Solomon suffered a lot because the knowledge of men was not enough for the immensity of the temple he wanted to build. Thus, Solomon, very worried and anxious, prayed every night in search of God's help, to be enlightened and to continue with the majestic work. On a night of prayers, a shining light appeared before Solomon, and the king's eyesight quickly became clear, for before him was the archangel, Michael. Michael tells Solomon that he will give him something never seen before and that will never be seen again. He also told the king that he will give him a magnificent power that will help him on earth, and obviously help him to build the great temple, which required certain demands that no one could satisfy. Michael approaches Solomon and gives him a brilliant gold ring carved on it, a peculiar symbol, today known as the secret emblem of Solomon. Solomon looks at the ring in detail. The symbol on the jewel had a figure of a lock surrounded by small symbols. With this ring, Solomon was able to provide the mysteries and hidden powers, and instantly knew that the powerful divine ring was able to dominate a legion of 72 spirits, representations of good and evil, which were led by the infernal prince, Asmodeus. These beings would provide powers and knowledge at his convenience, and Solomon had to analyze and study the behavior of those demons. The entities called genies by Solomon were mischievous, and above all very restless, and yet the king managed to dominate the legion of demons. Immediately, Solomon ordered to build several sacred temples with the help of the controlled genies. At last, he managed to raise the foundations of the Temple of Jerusalem, which today is called the Temple of Solomon. And with the help of the demons, he succeeded in meeting the demands that no man ever achieved. Asmodeus watched the shrinking of the temple closely and made sure not only that the tabernacle housed the Ark of the Covenant, but also that he would add to the temple something never seen before, for underneath the temple, he built with the demons he led, a series of secret chambers and tunnels. The ring that Solomon possessed made him the most powerful man on earth up to that time, and he was the one who was closest to Asmodeus. Asmodeus and the legion of 72 demons provided so much knowledge and technology to the king, that in many accounts he was declared impure for following the demons and abandoning God. There is no doubt that Asmodeus was a spirit that acted according to his convenience. It was up to him whether he decided to help mankind, teaching with all his knowledge, or in the worst case to destroy human grace, possessing and controlling the minds of weak men.